Hello family, we're at Just That Honey Tea Company, a wonderful cafe and retail shop in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm here with Auntie Felicite Cesaire, the visionary behind The Furnace is for Gold. Hi Auntie Felicite, how are you today?
Hi Bailey, I'm so happy to be here. I am feeling good. I feel blessed. Yeah.
I just want to say thank you for coming to share with me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I think it's such a big deal that you're the one who's like able to lead this conversation and be able to, get a glimpse of what I have going on in my big age.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
The auntie concept is the dynamic between an aunt and her niece as they have a generational conversation over tea. The tea is meant to represent the bridge between the young and the old, and the young sitting at the feet of their elders and learning from them.
I love that. That's beautiful.
Would you like to pour some tea?
Yes, let's do it. Awesome.
So today, we're actually doing something a little special. We made a blend. So we combined Georgia Peaches by Just Add Honey and Holiday Cheer. So the Holiday Cheer has like cinnamon and apple. I'll hold that for you. And the Georgia Peaches has apricot and black tea. Both of them have a base of black tea, so it's going to be a really nice blend, and I'm really excited to try it.
So excited.
Oh my goodness, that's a beautiful color.
That is nice. And it smells so good already. Do you want this here?
Wow.
Awesome. Let's see.
That smells amazing. I can't wait for you to smell it.
So exciting.
It smells so good.
I'm glad we took a little bit of both, like, what we love.
Yeah. Because, like, you should also, like, go with the season because, it's fall and holiday.
Yes, it's so pretty.
It is.
So good.
It's like a beautiful golden amber color.
I love that. I love
We're
everything
gonna
golden.
Sweeten it now. I'm going to do the sugar cubes.
Awesome. And I got my honey because life's so sweet, right?
Right.
So
That was
good.
actually the inspiration behind the tea I picked because I was
So
like,
good.
life's sweet and you should savor every moment.
Perfect. Ooh, look at that.
Oh, wow.
That's why I love honey, because I just feel like I'm able to see the whole the whole thing dripping like that. Story. It's a story.
And watch, because like the sugar cubes are like
Oh,
easily
they're dissolving.
melting.
So cool.
And I think that's like amazing.
I love that. How much honey do I need today? How sweet do I want this?
You can have it as sweet as you want.
Right. So good. Let's see. Ready to try it?
Yep, I'm going to stir my sugar in a little bit more.
Everybody needs to try this.
Yes.
This is the Bailey and Felicite special edition. Wow.
Oh,
yeah, no, that's
my
perfect.
gosh.
Oh,
I
the
have to take
first
that
sip
again.
feeling.
Yeah.
It was so warm. It's
my
comforting. It's like a hug.
That
like a
is
hug.
so good.
So good for the soul. I love this for
You
us.
got to close your eyes when you sip that.
Right, exactly.
Like you can't like
Brings you
oh.
someplace else.
Like you got to close your eyes and like go to that realm. It's like a whole realm you're traveling to.
Oh, I love that.
It tastes even better with that sweetness.
So
Nice
so
sweetness.
good. Wow.
That
oh my
is
gosh.
delicious. That's
It
so
like
good.
takes away all my problems. Bad, so.
Like I'm here to make you feel good.
Right.
That's my job.
I love that.
I gotta take another sip. It's so good.
So good. Perfect.
So in my life, travel has been really important to me. I always tell my parents, I want to go see the world. I want to go do this. I want to go see that. But travel is not for me only getting on a plane, going somewhere, and going to places and meeting people. It's about the experience.
Right. So true.
Finding those things that inspire you. And when you come home not saying, okay, now it's time to go back to work and do all these other things, I enjoyed my free time. No, it's an experience that you can cherish and that you can keep with you. How has travel impacted your life, and where are some places that you want to go?
That's a really good question. So a lot of people don't really know this, but I traveled in Europe for over a year, and that was like the first time I left home and like didn't have my family with me, or I didn't have my mom or people that are familiar with me. So travel impacted me because it was like, wow, I'm able to really step into a place that's unfamiliar to me, but still stand firm in who I am and have bits and pieces of home and take it with me wherever I go. So it really shifted my perspective and it opened my eyes to see, wow, there's like a whole new place that I can live and that I can shine in, or there's a whole new place that there's so many people with different languages too. And it gave me the opportunity to be able to learn more about myself, to be able to take some of my culture, being Haitian American, and then meeting with like people. So I lived in Africa, I lived in Liberia, I lived in Germany, Hungary, Poland. And so it was like a whole year of travel. And it was like, wow, like these people don't speak my language, but I was able to find something that allowed me to connect with these people from so many different cultures. Right. I was able to see myself in them, and also it taught me how to create a language that only we could understand based on this new, fresh relationship, trying to understand each other's culture. So it really shifted my perspective on life and how I approach relationships.
Yes, because I believe that words are not the only language. You can connect with people on so many different levels. Art, music, travel, food. Like, you will find that thing that lets you talk to them metaphorically in a way that lets you build a relationship and connect with each other.
Right. I have this experience when the experience I had was filled with a bunch of artists from all over the world. But this one particular person stopped me and was like, I want to photograph you. And at that time, like, I was the one who was doing photography for people. I never put myself in front of the camera. So it was like, oh, it was a transforming like moment, because I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Like, how do I pose? Like, this is really kind of uncomfortable. But she was from Costa Rica, and obviously I speak English, being American. Like, we didn't have the words. We just knew like there was something, this kind of love that connected us and helped me become comfortable in front of the camera. It was like, no matter the language barrier, there was something that connected us that made me feel like, okay, I could let whatever fears or whatever's making me feel uncomfortable or whatever insecurity I may even have about myself, because I'm like, this person from somewhere else who doesn't even speak my language understands me and sees me. So it's cool.
There's always something that you can use to connect with someone, because just because they might be different than you doesn't mean that you can communicate and share, because you should always be able to share how you feel and who you are with those around you and create new relationships despite challenges or differences.
Right, so true. And I love that. I live for that. My life is like meeting people wherever I go. Like the way I met you, there was a light about you that was like, you know what, I relate to this. If I was your age, I would love to be able to share that with other people. And I think that was like the coolest thing when I met you. That was our language, our special language. I'm gonna need more tea because this is way too good.
Yes, this is so good.
This is so good.
We have enough in that pot.
Oh, good.
This is
time for a refill.
This is really good.
Love. I don't even think mine needs any honey, which is cool. It's good like by itself.
Yeah, like it has this essence to it. It's like,
yeah, and a nice
you can
sweetness.
dress it up how you want, but it really has its own energy to it.
Yes.
I think
Love that.
all tea has that. Like its own, it has like a vibe.
So exactly.
It has a vibe.
So true. I love that. It's refreshing.
I'm actually gonna pour some more because this is really good.
Awesome. You got it, or do you need
Yep,
help?
I think I got it. Thank you.
Lovely.
You know, I think tea is like a universal drink. Everyone drinks tea. It's the second most popular drink in the world. And I think that tea is itself, like we were talking about language, I think it's a language too.
Right.
Because it's the love of something that calms you down and gives you energy and gives you light and freedom.
And it also brings healing.
Yes.
I feel like, you know, what we kind of talked about a little bit was my family being from the Caribbean, and they would take whatever they had. Like, my mom was like, I know this leaf, or I know this, like, piece of orange peel is gonna make your stomach feel better, or I know these cloves will cleanse you from, you know, whatever sickness you have. But it's so interesting how you could take whatever ingredient, natural ingredients, and make something that's like a healing thing for you and makes you feel better and gives you that boost of energy. So it's so cool.
Because, like, a lot of people like you have memories around tea. I have memories around tea. I know that every time that I might get sick or have a cold, tea is going to be brought
Right, that's
to
the
me.
first thing.
Whether it's peppermint or jasmine, it's I think it's like this cultural thing that's been passed down through generations. Like,
So true.
this warm, sweet drink is going to make you better, and I know it. And it has been doing that for generations.
That's my
know?
go-to, because I think something I love a lot, like this is important, this space that you were able to create and invite me into, because my love is curating spaces for people to feel welcome, safe, unashamed, where they don't have to feel, you know, scared about like how they're feeling in the exact moment. So tea is always like the center of whatever it is like that is helping that space become safe. It's always like there. It's perfect for every occasion, right?
Because you can start with, like you might start a conversation, say, oh, this tea is really good, but then it can lead into your conversation and create a really, like you said, a safe space for healing and a place where you can, like, get some things off your chest.
Right.
And, you know, really share what you need to share in order to free you and to create space in your mind and your life.
So true. I love that.
And you know what I think is another language?
What is that?
Music.
Oh, yeah, that's the biggest language ever.
Yeah.
That saves people.
Yes. Because music
awesome.
has this thing about it, harmonies, melodies, instruments, you know, it all comes together to create this beautiful, what I might like call like a metaphorical painting. It's like it's a painting of sound.
That is so cool. That's a beautiful way to see it too.
Yeah, like you can hear the art in the music. Like you can hear the creation, you can hear the studio sessions, the laughs.
How
of
they put it
people.
together.
Yeah, you can hear the creation really come through in the song. And you can tell that it's days and years and months and moments of hard work. And I think in order to create a good song, you need to also have conversations with the people you're making it with,
Right,
because
exactly.
that song, the topic, whatever you want the song to be about, the melodies, everything, you can start with a conversation and it can create topics, which then in turn create an inspiration for the song. Like,
Right.
you'll find many artists will say, you know, this song was inspired by this thing that happened in my life. It can be inspired by life events. And, you know, I believe that your life can be a really big inspiration for what you create as an artist.
Right, right. That is big. Something I feel like with music, yes, it starts with the conversations and the inspiration, but like when you have that moment where it's like, okay, I got inspiration from this in my life. I got inspiration from maybe what I saw outside on a walk or something like that, or in a movie. You then putting it into this whole package and those sounds and those waves reaching other people, you start to see like there are so many people in the world that have had the same experience. So it starts to create this like relatable moment. It starts to create like, even if they've never met an artist that created this song or this sound, it reaches you as if you were the one who made it, or it was like personal to you. So I think that's like the beauty in music as well.
Because if you get an inspiration, like take an example, walking in the park, you might decide, hey, I'm going to put some nature sounds into this. I'm going to put the sound of the ocean and the sound of birds chirping and the melodies of the wind, because inspiration can come from anything, anywhere, and anybody.
Right.
And I think when you draw from all those sources, you can really create beautiful art that speaks volumes.
That's so true. That's so true. What's your favorite song, actually? That's what I want to know.
You know, music is always playing in my house. There will always be some grooves
I love
that
that.
create a mood and a vibe in my home. And I listen to a lot of different genres, jazz and R&B, soul, hip hop. And even if I can't choose one favorite song, I have things that like resonate with me. So I have genres that resonate with me, artists that resonate with me. So if I can't say a song, then an artist that I definitely love is her.
Oh yeah, wow, she's
She
amazing.
blends everything together.
Right.
She blends elements of jazz and R&B and soul all together and fusion, and it creates a fusion of like you can't even name like what kind of genre is that.
Right.
Like if you have all these things separated, but then you put them together,
She has a genre of her own.
Yeah, like
It's beautiful
a whole
because
new art form.
yeah, you learn a little bit about her. She started really young, so it's so cool to see at the age she is now and where she is in her music.
Yeah.
You can see like how she studied the craft and like puts her all into it. She takes every little bit, every instrument that she can do, everything like creatively and puts that together. And I think I just love what she produces. It's really cool.
You know, you'll always have people, no matter what kind of art you're creating, whether it's paintings, whether it's whether it's writing like poetry or stories, or whether it's music. There will always be something about what you do that will connect with people, and you will find your audience there. Even if it doesn't resonate with the masses, I think the best artists are the ones that resonate with the most intimate group of people because they are the true fans. They're the true people who are like, that speaks to me. Like, I get that. And that moves in line with how I move about and what I think and who I am.
I love that. That's so good. Do you play any instruments?
Yes, I'm actually learning piano, and I go to a youth choir. I'm actually in a youth choir. It's created by a program called Atlanta Music Project.
That's awesome.
It's a wonderful program. The choir is amazing. I actually just had a performance a few weeks ago.
Amazing.
And, you know, being exposed to all the genres and playing the piano and being in a choir, it allows me to do so many things. I also have GarageBand on my iPad, so you know I'll play around with the loops and the instruments, and I'm like, oh my god, that sounds so good.
That is so cool.
You know, it's all fun, and you know, it's really something I can explore to the fullest. You know.
That's awesome. So good. When I think about music and how it impacted me, I also like bring it back to the language because I always ask my mom, I'm like, how did I learn to speak another language? So being Haitian, we speak Haitian Creole, which is very close to French. And the music that makes me the happiest is the music from my culture. So if I'm having a day where I'm like, I need something that's going to cheer me up, I need something that's going to actually make me feel safe. I listen to my culture's music. So I'll play like music that is from the 1970s when my mom was like hanging out and having fun in her country of Haiti. And it resonates with me because that's what she loved and that's what I grew up listening to. So it's like there's a type of music that's called like it's troubadou, and I feel like they have that word in English too, where they call the person who's curating the music the maestro and like the leader of the band. And that music is like that keeps me, that reminds me of who I am and reminds me of where my family came from and my roots and all that. So it's so important that even with a different language or even like growing up in America, but still being able to relate to a whole different country it's mind-blowing that I can experience that.
Because
super cool.
Even some people try to fit in, even when people are trying to fit in, you should always find the things that allow you to return to your roots and where you come from and who you truly are and who your ancestors were and all that energy, and let that life flow back into you so that you don't forget who you are and where you come from and what you represent, you know?
Yeah. I represent a really big independent country of Haiti. It's so cool.
Yeah. Now, I think this is universal, and I think everyone enjoys food, but especially me, because
I'm with you.
it's this thing. I don't know what it is, but it just brings you joy to taste new flavors and explore culture through your taste buds is a wonderful experience. What are some memories around food that you have, and what are some of your favorite foods?
That's a great question. So I immediately know that everything Caribbean is just, it just brings me so much joy. So Haitians, the way that they prepare food and the flavors are out of this world. I can't even describe it really, but I love a good fried plantain. So good. Fried plantain, like I even thinking about it, that crunch, that satisfying crunch. Fried plantain, rice and peas, the sauce of the chicken, and even like an oxtail. So Jamaican and Haitian food, top tier, like my number one thing. But then, I can go on and on about foods. That's a tough thing. That's a tough thing. So it's Jamaican, Haitian, Trinidadian, and then we're going to take it all the way to Asia. Those are my top favorite foods.
Yeah, I really love Asian cuisine because
So good.
experiencing all different cuisines that my family and my parents have introduced me to really allowed me to discover my favorite cuisines, not only favorite food, but like this culture really has something to offer. And
So
one of
awesome.
that is Asian and Indian food. Like the naan and the
Oh my
curry
gosh.
and Asian food like Thai and Japanese, the sushi and the miso soup, dumplings, Thinking about that, I really get hungry
You're
because
speaking
that
my language.
is
I actually
so
wish
good.
I could speak their language so I could tell them how good that food is.
That is
It's
so
amazing.
delicious.
I always say when I'm in doubt, just just choose curry. Anything with curry, and it makes me
Curry.
happy. But it's cool that because I have a lot of Trinidadian and like Guyanese friends, but they look Indian, and the foods that they cook are the same thing. So there's a lot of
Like
the connection there. And so I love a dish that's called roti, and that's like that flaky bread with the curry potatoes, curry chicken, whatever you want in there, carrots, chickpeas. That whole combination is a burst in your mouth. Like I was actually thinking about it yesterday.
another one of my favorite dishes is actually doubles.
Yep, you get me. You get me.
Doubles.
So good. Oh, the
The
best.
curry chickpea and that fluffy bread.
I always think to myself, I'm going to try to teach myself how to cook it. Because I'm like, anything that I go to a restaurant and try, or try at a family friend's house, I can try to create that experience myself because I feel like cooking is like super therapeutic.
Yeah.
So I look at a lot of videos, but I haven't tried cooking doubles yet because I'm like, I don't want to mess up the dough. I want it to be that perfect, fluffy, satisfying experience.
Pillowy.
Yes.
Wow.
And the
Yeah.
flavors, it relates to the tea too, because it's like there's certain leaves and stuff that they'll use in the food that creates that specific flavor, similar to like putting a certain tea together, like we did, our
Right.
cool blend we did.
Because all of it has a story to tell. Food comes to you and is like, I'm going to tell you a story about where I come from, what I represent. And I'm also going to tell you how good I taste as well.
I love that.
And it tells you all of that in one bite. And it's a beautiful experience.
So beautiful.
I-
I'm literally thinking about it right now. Like, wow,
Yeah.
I need that in my life.
I'm closing my eyes when I drink this tea, and I'm like thinking like
Some roti and some tea, some Caribbean food.
something. It really can give you inspiration, like let you travel through a bite of food.
Yeah, I think one of my dream places is to go to Trinidad and like try all the foods and just see what the culture is like. Because I love eating the food so much when I'm here in America, but it's like, if I could go there and eat it, I feel like the food would be even better.
Yeah, because it really comes from that culture, so you can really experience it fully.
Yes, one day. Do you have a dream place you'd like to visit?
I want to visit everywhere. Definitely want to go to Africa.
Yeah.
Definitely want to go to Africa. I definitely want to go to Egypt to see the pyramids.
Oh, that would be amazing. I had a friend that just went and it looked amazing.
Yes, so definitely want to go see the pyramids. Definitely probably want to go to Asia too. One of my favorite drinks is bubble tea.
Oh, love.
So I think I might want to go to Taiwan.
I love Thai tea. With the boba in it.
Thai tea,
Yes.
boba tea is
Oh my
delicious.
gosh.
I've had that before. That's so good.
Yeah, we're here.
And, you know, another language that I think is really important is art. Because any type of art, like we've talked a lot about art and language, so like travel, music, food even being culinary arts, you know. So, but I think art as a whole can really say something, because when you create art, like we talked about it resonating with people, another thing that it can do is it can resonate with you, and it can bring back memories in old times and really flood you with this feeling of like being home. Because even if you're not there, wherever your home is, you can feel it running through your spirit, and you're like, yeah, like I totally feel that feeling whenever I'm writing about something that is important to me, whatever that may be, whether it's wellness or mental health or self-care, you know, whatever I'm writing about, even nature. Like I love writing about nature in my poetry. Like I have a lot of, if you go through my poetry, I have so many nature.
It's comforting. It's really
so many
comforting.
nature poems, because when you take a walk out of nature, then you come home and start, like maybe you decide to write. Like I have, all I need to write about is in nature.
Right.
You know, the trees, the fall leaves, the snow, the everything.
Right.
You know, it's all there for inspiration. It can inspire new topics and new ideas that you can share with the world.
I feel like my experience, like being overseas, really taught me to appreciate nature. Growing up in the city, like obviously there's buses going everywhere. It's like can be loud. There's people on the street. And when I lived in Germany, it was like we had to go down this really, really long path. It was a very small town with people that, yeah, they probably they probably thought I was a unicorn in that space, because there's not a lot of black people in that specific area. So I would be walking and like the nature path, it would just be me. And it's like, I even forget that I'm in Germany. It was just like the trees, the water passing through, and all of that felt like a special moment with like self and, you know, God, who I believe in. And it was just, I don't know, it was like a refreshing, awakening moment. And so I could see how it can relate back to like storytelling and creativity and healing as well.
Yes, because I think healing is really important. You know, not just in your mind and your spirit, but also your body, taking care of yourself. And, you know, that's actually a great lead-in into self-care, because that's something that I believe is really important. Not only, you know, doing the spa treatments and getting your nails done. I mean, that is important. That is definitely important.
That keeps you looking cute.
Yeah. But also nourishing yourself from the inside, making sure you're eating plenty of healthy food, you know, drinking lots of water, getting in good exercise. And I've learned the importance of sleep, because I've had a few late nights, and when I wake up really tired. So I try to make sure that I always go to bed nice and early so that I wake up refreshed, and I felt like I actually got some good sleep in.
Even how you show up in the world too.
Yeah.
Because I like, even to prepare to, you know, hang out with you, I was like, as long as I get some sleep, I think I'm going to be perfectly fine and I'm going to make it and I'm going to be super excited. So sleep really does play a huge factor in self-care. But growing up, there was this culture and there was this language that like if you went to sleep that you weren't being productive, or like they used to say team no sleep. And now, like, because people are taking their mental health more seriously, it's actually becoming a problem to not sleep, especially when you want to create safe spaces like this, or you want to create and build impactful things. Your rest is vital to everything that you create, everything that you're able to produce, how you're able to show up for your friends, for your family, just being a better person, even for work when you work. And creating music, all of that comes from how well you rest.
Right.
So that's perfect. It's so important.
Because, I think if they said that, oh, if you sleep, then you won't be productive, I think it's actually the opposite. If you don't sleep, you won't be productive because you'll wake up in the morning and be, oh my God, I'm too tired. I need more sleep because I don't feel like doing anything. I feel hungry and cranky and tired, and you won't be as productive. But if you get good sleep, you're like, okay, now I'm ready to do whatever it is I need to do. And the days and the nights where I get more sleep, I tend to get a lot more done.
Right.
Like, I tend to be able to get through my whole schoolwork schedule, then maybe go outside, then do some shooting, do some reading, have some leisure time. And, I'm really able to fit all of that in because I got the proper rest and energy that was needed to sustain me.
I love that. It's so good. Beautiful. How many cups have you had? I feel like I've been drinking this whole thing.
I think I'm going to say 3.
It's good. I think I might be on 4.
Wow. I mean,
it's
and I
so
get it.
Tasty
it's
and
so
sweet.
good. Because it's interesting. It tastes like all 4 seasons. Like, you taste the fall in it. You taste the winter.
Right.
But then you also taste like a little spring and summer in there,
That
too.
is true.
Because the summer
From
is like the
peaches, yes.
The spring is from like the flowers, so like the safflower petals.
Yes.
That's 5?
That might be.
I get it. I mean, it's so good.
Yeah, it's tasty.
Like, this is delicious.
Love it.
So, I did want to say, like we were talking about self-care and music and art and all these different things, but what do you think is the importance of just being in the moment? So not only thinking about your future and what you want to do later, or who you want to be later, or the places you want to go later, but being in the now. How important do you think that is, and what do you think should be done in order to make sure that you're always being present in the moment, not only for the future?
That's a really good question. I do think about this often, and I feel like in the way I live, I tell myself to kind of calm myself from thinking about the future or what will happen later or what will happen tomorrow or the next year or something like that. I tell myself, you have now, and this is the best place that you could ever be. Because like I'm here right now. I don't know anything else that's happening outside. I don't know what anybody else is doing. Teaching myself to speak to myself and say good things like that helps me stay present. It helps me catch when like I'm feeling worried. It helps me pause when I feel like I have to rush things that I want to create. It's so important to, like, in life, see how, I guess, I don't know, how you grew up and where it will take you, like where you want to be, and how that moment of pausing is actually the healthiest place to be, because sometimes things can be out of your control. But pausing and taking that moment is so important to be able to like just be throughout the day. Like if I don't take that moment to pause, if I don't take that moment to just think of what's happening right now, then I'll be in a whole different place. And that is not like, I don't think I want to be like that. I want to be able to focus on what's in front of me, who I have in front of me. It just helps in every aspect of life when it comes to work, relationship, every creativity, all the great things that we're talking about, and self-care. That is like the biggest self-care thing, being able to focus on the now. So yeah, it's like words of affirmation.
Right.
I say to myself, like, you're here, you were supposed to be here in this exact moment. And that is like, it's a grounding experience.
Yes.
Keeps you grounded, yeah.
And another thing, reading. Books. Whatever the book may be, whether it's fiction, nonfiction, history, biography, I love reading.
That's so good.
Like, I really love books. I go to the library as often as I can. I love pulling out my library card, checking out the books. It feels like you're gonna get smarter.
Oh, definitely,
Like,
you are.
Like, I'm gonna be real smart when I return these books.
Yeah.
And I can actually feel my brain like, oh yeah,
Expanding.
It's expanding, it's filling
It's
up
a thing. It's
with
a whole
all
thing.
of that knowledge. And that's really fun, you know? I love fiction books because I love reading fiction. I love fantasy and magic because I think it's important if you're going to like read fantasy and fiction and that stuff, you should have fantasy and fiction books that are still kind of grounded in reality. So I have a book. It's called Amari and the Night Brothers. So it's basically about a girl who's looking for her brother, and she goes to this supernatural bureau and learns all about the supernatural world and all these cool things. So it's a really cool book. And it's still grounded in reality because it still has themes and subjects like friendship, trust, and all of these things that are true things that happen in reality. So it's still grounded, so it's not too far off in fantasy land, but it still has that element of fantasy woven in that makes it the perfect book.
So cool. I love that. I remember my favorite moments was being able to go to the library. Like, I remember when you were talking about that, I literally went back to 1990 something where I would go to the library after school and my mom would just go to another section and I would just be in that kid's circle. And I feel like that's a huge core memory because I feel like it shaped me now and like really expanded my imagination. To be able to read a book and take and apply it to your life, like you could see yourself kind of in that book and you can start to create your own stories from that. And I feel that's where my creativity started to become refined and how I was able to learn like even how to write better because I was reading so much. So it's helped me a lot. Super cool. I love that.
What is Creatives Anonymous?
Oh, that's great. That's a good question. Creatives Anonymous came from something I created called the Furnaces for Gold. So it's mental health advocacy for creative entrepreneurs. And the reason why I did that is I feel like as creatives, we didn't have this space to, for a moment, not just be that cool creative, but actually talk about the moments that aren't so cool, that aren't super perfect, or when everything that we're trying to create isn't coming out perfectly. There's a space that we can go to talk about what we're experiencing and then find a solution to overcome the frustration or overcome what can be a roadblock sometimes. So the Furnaces for Gold is to be able to advocate for mental health, and then Creatives Anonymous was birthed from that and became the space that people can actually come to. And it's been something that's been in my heart and in my head for so long. And when you're creating something and it's just like a vision that you get, it's hard to kind of bring it to life. You're like, okay, how is this going to be and how is it going to translate to other people? But over time, I've met so many other creatives that are like, I need a space like this. I want to come, even though it wasn't a real thing yet. So finally, for the first time, I was able to create that space. And I've done it before through one-on-ones, through relationships with my friends or creatives that I've met along the way, especially here in Atlanta. And yeah, it's just something that I want to keep going and keep expanding to hopefully become something bigger. It's my passion project. It's my life's work, I feel like. Yeah.
I think it's very important, you know, to advocate for mental health in the creative community, because I think that is a really big thing, not only for people who are not creatives, but for people who are, for people who need that space to say, you know what, I'm going through these things. I need a space to share with. I need a space to get that off my chest so I can maybe get some advice or just get support. Like, it's going to be okay. Because sometimes that's all you really need, that one nudge, that one push, and it sends you millions and millions of miles away.
Yeah.
But I think another thing that's really important is honoring the creative process.
Oh, yes. That's a big deal.
Because when you honor the creative process, and you know what I mean by that is you should honor the idea that things take time. So another thing that's really important, in addition to creating mental health spaces to share, is to realize that it's not going to be perfect on the first try. Like, I might not get this dress right on the first try. I might not get this stroke right on the first try. I might not get this swirl of the icing on this cookie right the first time. But my parents always tell me, if you do something 100 times, eventually it gets easier and easier and easier. And then it's like second nature. Like, you make that swirl on that cookie, you make that stroke on that painting, and you make that dress right.
Yeah, it kind of flows after that. Like, so much practice. You have to be able to show up for all the times that aren't going to be perfect to get to that place to be like, I'm an expert or I'm a master. And then it builds like confidence, so much confidence in you because you did it that 100 times. And then it gives you the courage to kind of learn how to take it to another level, which is so cool. It's so good.
Yeah, because, you know, you'll do something 100 times, you're like, okay, I've mastered it. But most people want to just jump to the destination, but you can't. You do not have a time machine. You cannot jump forward. So what you need to do is you need to savor the journey, because you're going to have much more journey. You're going to have a lot more fails, whether it's a small thing or a big thing. You're going to have a lot more trial and error than you do the big day.
Yeah, that's
so if you're planning an event, you're going to have a lot more things that you have to work on and practice before the big day comes.
Right.
And even the small things, like if you're playing a game, you're going to get the levels wrong until you master it. And then you're going to move forward and you're going to get that wrong.
Games scare me. I didn't grow up playing games all the time, but now like not that I didn't grow up playing games, I was always like really just focused on like my creative gifts a lot more, and creativity was always a way for me to express myself. So I always just turned to that. Like, while other kids were probably doing like the little dances and all these playing these cool games, like playing tag and stuff like that, I was always like doing photography, taking pictures of a tree and like tapping into whatever made me feel good. And so growing up now, it's like I'm starting to see life and like my experiences and the things that I love kind of like playing games. So it's interesting. And it's so good that you said like it's a process to get to like another level or becoming better at something, because that's why I live my life saying the furnace is for gold, because I really believe that every life experience, every day that we're able to like wake up is an opportunity to go through that process, and it's refining your character. It's like you're reading, it's making you better. You're jogging, it's, you know, allowing you to exercise your muscles and become stronger and to stay healthy. So I see life as a refining process. So that's why we have to go through that process in order to be and like use all the cool gifts that we have inside of us. And if we don't go through that process, we won't know what's within.
My mentors are successful and their advice is valuable. Thank you so much, Auntie Felicite. This was a wonderful conversation. I had a great time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I love what you're doing, and I'm so excited for your process. I'm so excited for how you're going to grow.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yay.